Hello, welcome to our channel. In this video, we will look at some examples that involve two or more transformations of functions. Here is the first example. We want to graph this function using basic function and transformations. So the first step is to identify what the basic function is. The basic function in this case will be this x squared, the graph of which is a parabola. Let's do that. So this is the graph of the basic function, x squared. Now let's look at all the transformations involved over here. We start by looking at the numbers right next to x. We have this +2, which will cause the graph of x squared to shift to the left by 2 units. Next, we have this 5, which will do vertical scaling. So it will stretch vertically by 5 units. Vertically by scale of 5. Next, we have this negative in the front. That will reflect the graph about x-axis. And the last one is this +2 at the end. That will move everything up by 2 units. Shift up by 2 units. We need to apply these transformations in this order. So first we start by graphing the basic function x squared, which already did over here. The first step is shift to left by 2 units. So everything gets shifted to the left by 2 units. So this point will go over here. If that is -2, this point will be shifted over here. If this is 2 units, that point will be shifted over here. This is 2 units and so on. So everything gets shifted to the left, giving us a graph like this one. So this is the graph of x plus 2 squared. The next step is to stretch vertically by scale of 5. So that means this point, for example, will be multiplied by 5. That y value will be multiplied by 5 to go up here. This y value will be multiplied by 5 to go up here, and so on. So vertical stretching. Something like this on this side. And maybe something like this on this side. So this is the graph of 5x plus 2 squared. The next step is to reflect about x-axis. We just take the whole thing and reflect about x-axis. That will give us this graph. We reflect this over x-axis. So this is the graph of -5 x plus 2 squared. And the last step, move everything up by 2 units. So this goes over here. This goes here. This goes here. This point goes here. So everything is moved up by 2 units. That will give us the final graph. Okay, something like this. So this is the final graph. And it has equation -5x plus 2 squared plus 2. All right, so we are done with this example. Let's look at the next one now. Next, we have -5 square root of x plus 2 plus 2. Very similar to the previous one, but the basic function is different. Here, the basic function is square root of x. So we start by graphing square root of x, which will look like this one. This is the graph of square root of x. And now let's note down the transformations. The first one is given by the number right next to x, which is +2, which will shift the graph to left by 2 units. Since we are +2, we need to shift it to the left. Next one, we have this 5, which will do vertical stretching. By scale of 5. Next, we have this negative in the front, which will reflect about x-axis. And the last one is this +2, which will move everything up by 2 units. So shift up by 2 units. Right, so the first step is to shift to the left by 2 units. So this point will go over here, and this point will be shifted left by 2 units. So everything will be shifted. This point will go over here and so on. So the graph should look like this one. Something like this. So this is the graph of square root of x plus 2. Next, we have vertical stretching by scale of 5. Each y value will be multiplied by 5. So this y value will go over here. This y value will go over here and so on. So I believe it will look like this. Okay, something like this. So this is the graph of 5 square root of x plus 2. The next one is reflecting about x-axis. When we do that, we get a graph like this one. So this is the graph of -5 square root of x plus 2. When you reflect this about x-axis. And the last one, move everything up by 2 units. So that will make this point go up here. This point will go up here. Everything is moved up by 2 units. So it will look like this one. This is the graph of -5 square root of x plus 2, which is the graph we want, f of x. So we are done with this example. And this is the next example we have here. So it wants us to write an equation for a function that has a graph with the following properties. So it has shape of y equals 1 by x, but shrunk horizontally by a factor of 2 and shifted down by 3 units. So we start by 1 by x. It's shrunk horizontally by a factor of 2. That means we need 2 right here. So that will make the graph of 1 by x shrunk horizontally by a factor of 2 and shifted down by units, so -3. So this is the function we want. So if we want to graph it, we start by the basic function 1 by x, which has graph like this one. And the first transformation is shrunk horizontally by a factor of 2. So everything is shrunk towards the y-axis. So maybe it will look something like this one. And then the next one is shift down by 3 units. Everything is moved down by 3 units. So this is the graph of the final function, 1 over 2x minus 3. And this is all we have put together in this video. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe to our channel if you haven't already. Thank you and have a good day.